Okay, so this is actually a clip from her on TikTok. Take a look.
Sometimes I be talking and a lie just, and I'm like, girl, did you really just, we didn't mean that? That's not real, sis. You're crazy though.
So when she's talking about like just can't being in control of her ability to tell the truth, just lying and stuff like that. That's a massive red flag. But I saved this part for last because it's like seriously the most disturbing part. Um, Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So she has been predatory on two different streamers. Destiny, which he's known for having girls and giving some of his clout away to them, and then Hassan Piker. So take a look here. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a breakdown of what happened with her, and then the most crazy part is at the end when she confesses openly about her trauma. Take a look.
Like a person saying insane shit. I looked her up. I was like, who the f- is this? Do I know this person? And I looked and I found that we had DMs. Okay. Like that she had DM'd me. And I'm saying like impressive. What other hidden skills you have? I'm like little flirtatious. I have the power to get random men and I DM from the bath to flirt with me. With great power comes great responsibility. I hope you're using it for good. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm very reckless with this power. So far, so good, to be honest.
No way.
This up. I think we accidentally met in 2018 while you were on a FaceTime with bleep. I feel like I'm not making this up. It was brief. I haven't even an ounce as hot as then I am now. So you're off the hook if you don't remember.
She texts me.
So she's immediately DMing Hassan, trying to get into his DMs, saying that I use my powers, my seduction powers, for evil. Okay, now here is Destiny reading his part as well.
Out of nowhere, December 14th, 2021. Watching her stream feels like I'm watching my history teacher teach a lesson in a very naughty way. Or maybe like a really passionate government teacher. Either way, I'm wet. That was her first form of text message to me on December 14th, 2021. She's clearly hitting on me. Oh, and then I type out, why am I even doing this? Some older person who's using leverage. Oh my God, what a weird foreshadowing of everything. What a strange text. I'm sorry. She said, we can fight on a call or voice memo. I say, ah ha ha, you. If some older person is using leverage or their position of power to get with some younger person who doesn't know better, then obviously that's a yikesy situation. She says, maybe. I say, I just want someone to take advantage of and abuse me. Okay, is that too much to ask for? Where's my ex-fairy smiley face? She says, I just know that I've been 16 and talked my way into a lot of older men's pants.
That's like a big thing for me.
I've been 16 and I've talked myself into a lot of older men's pants. Okay. So now she's saying, now this is the girl here herself. She said, this is a big thing for me. Now watch this clip here.
Older men's pants.
That's like a big thing for me, is I need to make men obsessed with me. I need to have that power over them. No matter how many men I make obsessed with me, the whole will not fill. It won't. It's always there's always another guy that I have to make my project. There's always another person I need to make obsessed with me. It will not fill. My whole life I'd spent, being like, oh, if I find the perfect man who loves me, everything will be okay. He'll save me from myself. And then I found the perfect man and I'm like, oh, I still feel it. So what that tells me is it's an internal issue.
So I'll play it one more time. Pay attention. Just listen up.
Pants.
That's like a big thing for me, is I need to make men obsessed with me. I need to have that power over them. No matter how many men I make obsessed with me, the whole will not fill. It won't. It's always there's always another guy that I have to make my project. There's always another person I need to make obsessed with me. It will not fill. My whole life I'd spent, being like, oh, if I find the perfect man who loves me, everything will be okay. He'll save me from myself. And then I found the perfect man and I'm like, oh, I still feel it. So what that tells me is it's an internal issue.
So let's talk about this. Okay. So she says that she uses her powers of sexuality as a woman, right, to seduce men and to feel powerful over them, right? So we're going to break that down. Okay. So what that translates to do is first and foremost, that is a form of trauma. Okay. She has some kind of subconscious unresolved trauma going on inside of her. Okay. And so, okay. Like, let's just say, okay. So this is your heart. Okay. This is this is representing your mind, your height, your game, your overall mental state of well-being. Okay. And so when you have trauma that is typically happening in your life, right? Typically you're going to feel a hole. You're going to feel empty, you're going to feel a lack of something. And what this is as a child, you were not properly loved and cared for and given enough comfort and safety and support from your parents. And this stunts your development psychologically. This stunts your development emotionally. This leaves a void. Okay. And the void calls to be filled. Okay. So what does she say? She says, I need power over men. Why would somebody want power? Okay. Because they feel powerless. So I'm not a psychologist and expert. I'd have to talk to this crazy bitch. But if I were to put my money on it, I believe that this is some sort of sexual trauma from a man. I think she has some kind of sexual trauma from a man. And that is what this is. Okay. So the healthy way to handle this is to go to therapy. My choice. I mean, there's a myriad. You could take Paul likes to say, you can take a multi-step approach, multi-angled attack, eclectic approach to it, and get it solved. Hypnotherapy, guided psilocybin mushroom trips, talk therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. The list goes on. There's a bunch of opportunities there. However, she didn't decide to do that. And she was probably not aware until recently because she got herself, quote, the perfect man, and she's still doing this, right? And she was saying no matter how many men she had power over, right? She would kind of do it and do it. And guess what? It alleviates it for a little bit, but what happens is there's a hole and it just leaks out the back. And then you have to keep on pushing this in, okay? And this is what happens when you have broken inner game. This is what happens when you have broken self-esteem, when you have a hole inside of yourself, when you feel you need something externally to make you feel good internally. Now, people do this with drugs. People do this with alcohol. People do this with food. People do this with gambling. People do this with prostitution. They do it with video games. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay. And so what's happening right now is she is really looking at the situation she has with her life. And she's realizing that she's not going to change anytime soon. She realized that she's continuing down this path, right? Statements made. I need power over man, right? So she had been experiencing a feeling of powerlessness. What I believe is that it was probably some form of, sexual trauma from a man, because also when these people do this stuff, they overly sexualize themselves. And she clearly oversexualizes. I mean, she's sitting on the stream with her legs wide open. She's texting men these hypersexual things. She's a very sexualized individual. Okay. And she's leaning into that. So that being said, It's just like it's clearly a big problem. And but the average guy though, they're super simps. They don't see this. They don't see this. All they see is like, oh, she's a hot girl. She's a hot girl. Why? Because their inner game is broken too. Because when I see that girl and I look at her, I think to myself, like, bro, that chick will ruin my life if I got involved with her. And honestly speaking, she needs to get some therapy. She needs to be quarantined. She needs to be taken away from all people, social media, everything, because she is a menace to society.